What is this place we're here to explore? It's surfer's paradise, with white beaches to match. Busy trains course through its lively jungles. Monks meditate amongst its serene mountains. Tourists and followers alike flock to its sacred places. Animals frolic amongst its grassy plains and gentle trees. It's a monument to natural beauty. Its people, many are fun and friendly, cooking delicious food and brewing the best tea in the world. They work hard to maintain life here. In a land of ancient empires and seekers of enlightenment, this, my friends, is Sri Lanka. The wind. You can't see it, you can feel it. Zephyr means a gentle breeze. It's unbound, unrestricted, free.
You can be a free spirit on a farm. There are no rules, there are no regulations. You did what you want.
So often we get caught up in life's routine, stuck dreaming of freedom.
It's different to every single person.
We're breaking free and going on a road trip. We've been through Australia and we're going overland to London. But before that, we are heading to the world's most iconic islands: Jamaica, Cuba, Dominican Republic, Sri Lanka, and Madagascar. We're going to find out what they have to offer and what freedom means to them. Like us, you might expect Sri Lanka, or Ceylon as it was known, to be all about tea and elephants. Remember that movie Elephant Walk? Or maybe the infamous Tarzan the Ape Man? Me neither. They're important, but they aren't the only thing that draws a surprising number of tourists and filmmakers here. It's the mesmerising landscape, and all the mind-blowing cinematic experiences you can find on an island smaller than Ireland, and about the same size as Tasmania, the little island off the coast of Australia. Similarly, it is located just 50 kilometres off the coast of India, a country that has had a lot of influence on Sri Lanka and its 21.5 million people, a number which almost matches the entire population of Australia. The problem with being such a wonderful country is that everyone wants a piece of it. Everywhere you go, you see the remnants of the Portuguese, Dutch and British invasions in both architecture and culture. They brought along Christianity and Islam to complicate Sri Lanka's majority Buddhist religious landscape, while Hinduism trickled down from India. These influences have formed Sri Lanka into a melting pot of competing beliefs, which make for an amazingly unique country, but have also contributed to conflicts like the Civil War. We found it hard to imagine a conflict here. To us, it seemed that most Sri Lankans were very relaxed and friendly. We were here to find out if that was true, to understand the people of Sri Lanka, to find out what freedom and happiness meant to them. Who better to ask than the local barman?
I've just got here in Sri Lanka. What I'm thinking is Sri Lanka is elephants and temples.
There is more things to see. Culture of Sri Lanka. We are rich with wind and the ocean, and you can see lots of things around our island.
So I'm chasing the wind, which is sort of a metaphor for chasing freedom.
Yeah.
And we're going on this road trip, looking for the great places where the wind blows.
This is all about the wind. I got the tattoo.
We're travelling, we're meeting the people. And
multi-religious, multicultural.
Some are from South India, Tamils.
Sinhalese. Yeah, we are all like brothers.
Raj had been very enlightening, and our route and purpose had become clear. Where will our journey take us? The bustling capital of Colombo, the former Dutch fortress town of Gull, the beaches of Marissa and Hiraketia, mountainous Ella, religious Kandy, and the rock of Sigiriya, the architectural masterpiece that is Anurad Hapur, and finally, Kalpidia, where the wind blew strongly. So we started in Colombo, a city of hustle and bustle and tuk-tuks. Colombo, post-war, is seeing a massive amount of development, as can be observed wandering the mile-long promenade, Garface Green. It's planned to be the next world financial hub, the next Dubai, and a huge port hub thanks to Chinese billions. The centre of Colombo was where the Portuguese built their fort, but has long since been demolished, although many prominent old buildings still remain, such as the British-built post office. The first thing that strikes you is the incredible number of tuk-tuks, which you quickly learn is the main way to get around. Not just the town, but the whole of Sri Lanka. And they fill just about any transportation role you can think of.
This is my friend Rajesh, he's a photographer. This is someone you know, he's tuk-tuk driver?
Yes, he's Prashant.
Prashant, Andrew, how do you do? Yeah.
As you can see, this is the most common and famous transportation mode on Sri Lanka.
Yep.
Purpose built for do anything. Go anywhere, do anything. Transportation.
I've already noticed, mate. Look, they go up four-wheel drive tracks, they go on beaches.
Sometimes you'll see this as lorries.
Right, yeah.
Fully loaded. Yeah, and you'll see the driver like this because everything is like packed, jam-packed behind him.
Anyway, what better way to see Sri Lanka? A relatively compact country, the traffic doesn't allow you to go anywhere fast. So it's warm, and leaves you open to see the magnificent sights. As the day moves on, the Gull-Face Green becomes a very popular location for families to eat and play. It is here we first discovered the delicious and large range of Sri Lankan foods on offer. There's a reason Sri Lanka has a reputation for its food. Their many spices, sauces, and ingredients make for a huge variety of flavours and textures, and make this a wonderfully unique eating experience. Not hungry? Well, we walked to Peta markets, meeting some colourful people on the way through the fort area. Don't let the music hypnotise you. This practice usually involves removing the snake's fangs and venom glands, which leaves the snakes unable to feed themselves and ensures the charmer and his pet monkey aren't in any real danger. For the poor snakes, the illusion and entertainment come at a dreadful cost.
We're in Peta Market now in Colombo. This is the most happening part of Colombo, so let's go have a look and see what we can buy.
It is the largest and most famous market in Colombo, with many streets of maddening traffic, noise and haggling. Do you want clothes? Electronics? Some nuts to eat? Textiles? A bag of garlic? A truck to deliver all your purchases? Whereas Peta was mainly Muslim, being of Arab trading heritage, the majority of Sri Lankans are Buddhist, and it seems to permeate through their lives.
Sri Lanka, in comparison with other countries in the world, it has a different type of political, cultural, social and economic background due to the impact of Buddhism. We people were nourished with Buddhism, Sri Lankan people. We are very proud of our history.
All the kings and then the colonialists and stuff,
Yeah.
Buddhism always had a strong part in the
yes.
success and power of those
Yes,
empires, right?
Yes. There is a reason for that. Why Buddhism is important and why this impact? Because the Supreme Buddha, the Enlightened One,
Yes.
when he was about to pass away, he predicted my doctrine will prevail in Sri Lanka. Now he was born in India.
It wasn't just the early kings. There is some story about the British even recognised the influence of Buddhism.
Yeah.
We don't usually stay in large luxury hotels. In fact, we have a disdain for the typical tourist hotels. Lying around the pool just ain't our thing. But we couldn't resist staying at the majestic Gull-Face Hotel. It started out as a Dutch villa, but then the British turned it into a hotel of historical splendour. The next day, we left on our journey around Sri Lanka, going from Colombo to Gull, straight down the freeway, pretty much the way the crow flies. Excuse the pun, Sri Lanka has an extraordinarily large number of crows, almost rivaling the number of tuk-tuks. Indeed, the Gull-Face Hotel had its own crow scarer.
Any crows in this? No, just here.
We drove straight past the big tourist hotels in the southeast, places such as Bentoda and Hikaduwa. Not our scene, we wanted to see the real Sri Lanka. Galle is a major city and prominent seaport in Sri Lanka, on the southwestern tip. It was extensively fortified by the Dutch in the 17th century, but like Sri Lanka's many empires, it was also very popular with many traders. Persians, Arabs, Greeks, Romans, Malays, Indians, Chinese, they all often traded spices. Today, it is a World Heritage Site and is the largest remaining fortress in Asia built by European occupiers. The first fort was built by the Portuguese in 1588, though not much of it remains, as the Dutch replaced most of it after they won the Siege of Galle in 1640. As we drove on, there was less tourists, although the Russians tended to congregate to Mirissa, which was a little too commercialised for our taste. It does, however, have some nice beaches, and more signs about whale watching than there could possibly be whales. The major attraction is blue whales, but you can also see sperm whales, orcas, manta rays and dolphins, plus much more. Mirissa is said to be popular for whales and those that watch them due to its waters brimming with plankton. We have to admit though, Coconut Tree Hill was drop-dead gorgeous, unfailingly worth many photos by everyone. A huge bonus was seeing turtles there. At least 7 species of sea turtles visit Sri Lanka, and 5 of those come ashore to nest. Some of the types you can find in Sri Lanka are the green turtle, the Oliver Ridley turtle, and the leatherback turtle. We weren't able to get close enough to identify these ones, as they are an endangered species and it wasn't their nesting period, when it's safer to watch. To ensure they thrive, Sri Lanka has begun several conservation efforts near Mirissa, such as a turtle recovery centre. Also, it's the home of Zephyr. We clearly had some friends that also had a passion for the wind. Unfortunately, while this cafe was great, it wasn't quite what we meant by chasing Zephyr. We were looking for the wind and freedom. So, onwards we go, to another place with plenty of both. Serving up incredibly nutritious meals. It's sort of like the early Byron Bay or Canggu, but maybe better. Many don't realise, and strangely not many Sri Lankans realise, that Sri Lanka is a tremendous surfing location. In the south there is Hikaduwa, Unawatuna, Willagama and Mirissa. In the east there is Arugam Bay, which is probably Sri Lanka's surfing mecca, and compared to Kuta in Bali, Okanda and Puttaville.
4 years, almost 5 years ago, here jungle.
Yeah.
You can see lot of hotels and people, restaurants, surfboard.
So how long have you been surfing?
Almost 6 years. You can see small kids also doing surfing down there, like 2-3 years. Surfing.
Yeah.
They're like a pro.
We were trying to follow up on what our friendly barman had to say about enlightenment, and more simply, happiness.
There's a few secrets, a few things I can learn in Sri Lanka that'll help me find freedom and find happiness. You know, some of your massage and yoga and meditation and stuff.
medicinal culture in Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
Start from 5th century, 4th century.
Yeah.
Ayurvedic treatment was that time was amazing. Even now you can find really good things. You can find the happiness through it. Healthy life. It's a way to your happiness.
Yeah.
And those really good meditation places. Extremely powerful if you're looking to find happiness.
Yeah.
Brings you some peace.
Did it work for you?
It works for everyone, yeah. I'll leave the website.
We could definitely learn about enlightenment in this peaceful place. Ayurveda is derived from Ayur, which equals life, and Veda, which equals science. It is a study on the mind-body connections, emotions, physical health, and spiritual well-being. Funny thing is, we couldn't find where the locals practice these things.
But to be honest, I think here it's more catered for the Western audience. I know there's a lot of people that look to it as a great tool. Don't think they do it themselves. I think they're deeply rooted in their faith, for sure. So you'll wake up and you'll hear the monks doing their chants in the morning. So it's surrounded in them in their everyday life. That attitude then spills out to us. And then a lot of the ideas that we're doing in yoga are either from Buddhism or from Hinduism. We may be doing a physical practice, we might be doing a meditation practice, but they naturally have that in their everydays.
Come to a point of near enlightenment after enjoying such a stunning surf spot and all its relaxation activities, we were hesitant to leave, but we'd heard there were places just as beautiful further in from the coast, in the mountains. So we began our journey towards our next unique paradise. And who hasn't seen the Instagram photo of your adventurous friends hanging off out the train? The colourful ratty old one that goes over the 9-arch bridge? This is near a small town called Demadara. We head to the station there to catch our ride. The 99-year-old station is amazing in that it is completely original and still operates today. The ticketing system is similarly old school. You just punch in the ticket. The signalling is still controlled by keys passed to the train driver to the platform attendant and then passed to the key control box.
So these keys control the signals. They take this key out, slot it in there, slot it in. When the train comes in, they change the signals, they change this one. And pretty impressive old system.
Riding the train is a complete sensory feast. The view of the countryside, blended with the romantic old-time clickety-clack rattling of this old but quite well-preserved transport of a previous era. We passed through jungles, rice fields, tea plantations and villages. And we even hung out the side of the train and took the Instagram photo. This was one classic tourist activity that we could not ignore. We arrived at the Bandarawela train station. Wanting to see how small local towns operate, and to indulge in the always tasty food, we walked into the local town.
We are in a very local restaurant. As tradition has it here, as is normal, you eat with your hands. So it's going to be a little bit of a messy meal. We'll have to have a bit of a wash afterwards. So firstly, we wash the plate. We have some hot water they can get, sterilising the plate. Wash the hands. The rice. Mix it all up and get into it.
No longer hungry, but still not satisfied, we jumped on a bus, this time headed to Ella. Due to the humid, high rainfall, the cool highlands near Ella and Kandy produce a great portion of the world's tea. It has done so since the mid-1800s, when it was introduced by the British, after the previous coffee plantations suffered diseases. Thomas Lipton and the like built great empires from the wealth they made in tea.
You've been working in the tea plantations for many years?
20 years.
20 years. This is tea leaf, yeah?
This is the tea.
Is there just one type of tea or many different tea?
One Colons TRI 1 එක තියෙනවා, TRI 32 තියෙනවා, TRI 72 තියෙනවා, TRI 42 තියෙනවා, ගියේ තේකස් වගේ ගොඩක් තියෙනවා මේක. ඒ වගේ තියෙනවා. ඒකේ growth එක එනවා. ඒ growth එක එන එක සාමාන්‍ය fast growth එක තියෙනවා. fast growth එක එන එක 2024 2025 එකේ fast එක එනවා. ඒක අපි දළු කඩනකොට ඒක දවස් ගණන් තියෙන දවස් 7යි දවස් 8ක්.
How does it grow? So it's planted as a seed, and then how long does it take before it's a mature full tree?
මේක අපි ඊටවලා සාමාන්‍ය අපි ඊටවන්නේ plant එක ඊටවලා අවුරුදු 3මාරක් විතර ඒකේ එන්න ඕනේ. 3මාරක ඇවිල්ලා පස්සේ අපි ටිපික් කරපොත් ඒ කාලේ ඉඳලා ටික ඒක දළු හෙනවා. හැබැයි 3මාර පස්සේ ආහපු අවුරුදු තව 4ක් යන්න ඕනේ. 7යි. 7න් පස්සේ තමයි සාමාන්‍ය growth එක එන ඉස්සරහාම යන්න 100 ගාණක් දළු කඩන්න පුළුවන් ඇක්ටරේජ් එකට. ඒ වගේ 150ක් විතර යන්න පුළුවන් අවුරුදු 7න් පස්සේ. අපි ප්ලග් කරන්නේ මේ වගේ දළු ටිකක්. ඔන්න මේකයි මේ වගේ තමයි දළු කඩන්නේ. ඒක අපි දළු කඩලා මේක සාමාන්‍ය අපි අර මැෂින් එකට දාලා බෙදරෙන්ගෙ දාලා ඒක සාමාන්‍ය මේක මේක දානකොට මේක එනවා මේක. හරි. මේක තමයි දාන්නේ අපිට මේක දානවා මේකද අයින් කරනවා මේකෙන් තියනවා මේක තියනවා මේක තමයි වෙන්නේ. මේක එනවා මේක. වෙනස් වෙනවා. මේක තමයි අර ලිපෙට දාලා ඒක යන්නේ කළු පාට.
So then we headed to the factory where the tea leaves get processed. Here again we have some old English administration still in practice. These old accounting books have been used for 100 years to track income, expenses, and in this case, the tea.
Here we make only black tea.
Yeah.
These are the ideal for a black tea.
Right.
And tulip and butter. Problem means, but maybe somewhere have a big and hard leaf. Hard mean very matured.
Right.
This is 6 day, 7 day, 10 day oils. All mean less enzyme, less vitamin, less chemicals, and less water.
Right.
Therefore, very weak tea coming from hard leaf.
Right.
Strong flavor coming from young leaves. And evening leaves coming and spreading through there.
Yeah.
Because have a too much water.
Yes.
75% water. And we start fan to dry during the night. Normally average 12 hours we dry tea.
Where we saw upstairs where they're drying, you feed it down a chute down here into here. Yeah.
Raw.
Right.
320 kilos.
320 kilos.
Within 30 minutes. Leaves start to break, can make small and small. Young leaf becomes small, hard leaf becomes larger part.
Right.
Maximum they separate small and big from hard leaf.
Yes,
Quality. Small coming from young, expensive quality. After rolling, everything coming like that. These tea coming only from here.
Yeah, the top one, right? The small ones.
And this one coming.
The big, yeah. So, when we finish, I'm going to have a cup of this tea, right? Because this is the best one.
Yes, right. That smallest coming to the bed and going inside this machine. So the dryer have two part, chamber and heater. 21 minutes. What happened 22? This burn. What happened 20 minutes? Have a moisture. These are the black tea. Now it's a difference.
Oh yeah. It's dry, very dry now. Very dry.
There's a grading room and there we can separate sizes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sizes. Machine.
All right.
All are coming from here.
So this is actually the best one.
Yeah, best one. These tea 1, 2, 3, 4 without milk, without sugar, you can drink.
Well, that was a really brilliant tour. I thank you so much. We've seen the great tea produce of Sri Lanka. Now we need to go have a cup of tea, yeah? This must be the most magical, beautiful place in the world you've got here. You're very lucky to work in this area.
You see colour, nice colour.
Yeah. This is organic and it's also the very best from the very best producer. Oh, it's absolutely marvellous. That is the best. Yeah, it's so good. Take care, my friend.
As night fell on Ella, this beautiful, hip and eco-friendly little town, we asked ourselves, how could this get any better? Here we were, surrounded by picturesque hill country, with its tea plantations, misty mountain views and waterfalls. Maybe with dinner and some local beer? Blown away? Or is that Zephyred by beautiful beaches and mountains? It was time to head into Kandy for some cultural indoctrination. Kandy, formerly a kingdom, is the cultural capital of the island and home to the temple of the sacred tooth relic and many superb temples, including the nearby Dambala.
This is a rather interesting tree. I've never seen anything like it before. I mean, the flowers are actually coming off the trunk. Apparently Buddha was born under a tree like this. It's a pretty special tree, both the way it looks and meaning it has to Buddhism.
This is one very important tooth. It is the tooth of Buddha. And this relic is important in politics, as whoever holds the relic holds the governance of the country. The belief is so strong, it actually indicates the huge dependency governance of the country has on Buddhism. The Asala festival for this tooth is held in Kandy every year, and it's a colourful major national event.
During the colonial period, Sri Lankan Buddhists came forward with the power of the tooth relic. If some person possesses the tooth relic, he is the real authority of the country.
Right.
Therefore, when colonial people came to Sri Lanka, the Buddhist monks, they protected, they hide that tooth relic. However, finally Britishers got to know about this message. They said, you have to, the proper respect to the tooth relic, then we give it. Actually, they, first and foremost, they did not believe the power of the tooth relic. When they take it out and all that, it starts raining, 1842. So at that time, so many damage were done. They had some rebels. It was led by, Krapatipola. However, finally, we got so-called independence in 1948. Why I call so-called independence now? At that time, we had colonialism. Now we have neo-colonialism. When Portuguese invaded Sri Lanka 1505, and Dutch invaded Sri Lanka 1657.
Portuguese and then the Dutch.
Dutch.
And the
Yes.
British, yeah.
Then I think our culture completely changed. Way of dressing, way of eating, way of thinking, all changed.
Enough enlightenment for one day. We had to get some rest for Sigiriya the next day. Many of the hotels, like the one we stayed, were previously stunning colonial houses of the elite tea merchants of the British Tea Empire. Places such as this, the Richmond House, were built because Kandy was the location that tea was first planted in Sri Lanka by James Taylor. That plant turned into plantations, and then factories all around the country. This lightning-quick growth of the tea industry in Sri Lanka brought much wealth to Taylor and other British colonialists. So you can probably see why their homes were so opulently decorated, and why the new owners haven't changed the decor. The Kandy Hotel was impressive, but not nearly as extravagant as that of King Kashyapa. On this 200-metre tall high rock, he built a palace, complete with an enormous lion gateway halfway up. In fact, the rock's name, Sigiriya, means Lion Rock. It is a UNESCO-listed World Heritage Site.
I heard there was a king who put a palace on the top there many centuries ago.
Yeah.
This king had like 600 wives or something.
Give or take, yeah. This rock was an escape point for the king because the king was, he basically killed his father and came to the throne. So obviously he had a brother. So he knew he had to escape because he would come for revenge. Even if you come with a very large army, there's no way everyone could go up. Material, water, people, workers, his wives, a lot of speculation like how there was a tunnel underneath, there was a lift that went up, but nothing is proven there.
We were starting to wonder if elephants were mythical, just like the lions, as we had been travelling Sri Lanka for some days and not spotted a single one. Unfortunately, our first was in chains. Before making a snap judgment about the ethical treatment of elephants in Sri Lanka, we needed to see more. So we drove on to nearby Habarana, a small town which had a good number of safari tour operators. Perhaps not unusually, the restaurant owner was also a safari tour operator. This gave us the opportunity to learn more about the relationship between the animals and Sri Lanka. The elephants hold symbolic, cultural and economic importance in Sri Lanka. The Sri Lankan elephant is the largest type of elephant in Asia. They can be found in many reserves in the country and are protected by law. There are around 7,500 wild elephants in Sri Lanka. These remaining elephants are one of Sri Lanka's greatest treasures. Their association with the Sri Lankan people is said to date back over 5,000 years to the ancient Sinhalese kings who tamed the elephants to use for war, processions and ceremonies. During British rule, the protection the elephants enjoyed was rescinded, and large numbers were slaughtered for sport, bounty money, or just because the animal was being, as the British government termed it, an agricultural pest. It must be noted that the British enacted a law in 1907 to prevent cruelty to animals of note, such as to these beautiful behemoths, with a fine of 100 Sri Lankan rupees. Interestingly, the law and the fine remain the same today, leading some to question whether Sri Lanka was doing enough to prevent proper treatment of the animals outside and in captivity. Seeing those chains left us wondering the same. It was a long day out in safari, so we stopped by for a roadside drink as we headed to Anuradhapura.
This is actually an orange. It looks very green to me, but apparently it's the only green orange in the world. And now we have our orange juice, which we've put pepper in. So pepper is a little unusual to put in an orange juice too, I think. It's good though. Very good.
Our physical thirst was quenched, but not our thirst for adventure. So it was time to meet our tuk-tuk driver again.
Multi-purpose vehicle, a driver that knows his way around this town. Where are we going to go today then?
We are going to the place called Anuradhapura. It is one of the ancient capitals of Sri Lanka, where the kings were ruling. This place was on the top. I'm sure you love some of the stuff, the irrigation works and the canals they made.
Yes.
It's quite fantastic.
So, our tuk-tuk driver takes us to the various sites in Anuradhapura. Firstly, the dam of the ancient irrigation system. Kings created some of the most complex irrigation systems of the ancient world. It included underground canals, as well as completely artificial reservoirs like the one you see here. It was, of course, about food security and productivity.
මේක හදලා තියෙන්නේ දේවානම් පියතිස්ස රජතුමා අතිස්සාවැවේ නම හැදලා තියෙන්නේ දේවානම් පියතිස්ස කියන එක තමයි තිස්සාවැව කියලා හැදලා තියෙන්නේ. ගොවි ජනතාව ඒ කාලේ ගොවි තැන කරලා තමයි මිනිස්සු ඔක්කොම ජීවත් වුණේ පිටරටවල වලට හාල් ඇරියා. ඉතින් මේක තිස්සාව හදලා තියෙන්නේ මේ කුඹුරු ඔක්කොම අස්වද්දන්නේ මේවෙන් තමයි.
So what are these monuments over here?
Center රුවන්වැලි මහා සෑය ස්තූප.
And can we go see these places in your tuk-tuk?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ruwan Wilasaya is a hemispherical structure. It enshrines the relics of Buddha. It is a considerable feat in ancient civil engineering, formed by high-strength bricks laid with strict quality control.
This is one of the great engineering constructions of its time in the world. There's a tiny sapphire at the top there. No, a big sapphire at the top there. We just can't see it very well from here. So I think, this is where people go to pray.
Yes, local people come into the weekend, 1 week and
Yes.
2-day holiday.
Okay.
Holiday come into the morning and white color. Sri Lanka white color very special.
Maybe I'm meant to be wearing white. I don't seem to quite fit in here. Not one of the gang. We better go get some white clothes and learn a few things about Buddhism.
And in particular, becoming a monk.
Generally, our way of studying is, first and foremost, we have to study in the temple. Before becoming a monk, at least for 2 years, you have to study the Dhamma and Vinaya. Doctrine and the discipline. Now in Buddhism we believe in gods.
Yes.
Not one god, pantheon of gods. Therefore there is a very, very powerful god, king god. He is called God Sakra. Now there are 6 heavens according to Buddhism, 6 heavens. Therefore, first and foremost, that particular lay person who comes to be a monk, he is educated by the older monks. Then give the kind of socialization, proper socialization to be a monk. Later on, after becoming a monk, then once again you have to study more. There are special monks who knows about Pali language, Sanskrit language, and Buddhist philosophy. And sometimes you are taught even the mundane subjects like maths, science, English, all those things also are these days taught. Anybody can follow Buddhism, study Buddhism, no prohibition, and our centers are open to everybody. Therefore, free to come, free to ask questions.
People come to Ruwan Welisaya with offerings such as flowers or bits of cloth to pay their respects. Some brought nothing, but, like us, lit candles and incense. Many people meditated, listened, or prayed in this stunning site, which is one of the most sacred in the Buddhist religion. Close by was the world's oldest tree. The Jayasri Mahabodhi is a sacred fig tree and the closest living link to Gautama Buddha. It is also the oldest cultivated tree in the world at 2600 years old and is key to Buddha having achieved enlightenment.
ජයශ්‍රී මහබෝධියේ මේ බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝ අපුදුනේ මම ජයශ්‍රී මහබෝධියට පිට දීලා තමයි ඒකේ අංකුරෙත් තමයි මේ ගෙනලා ඔය රෝපණය කරේ. ඉතින් මේක ලංකාවේ ජනතාවට ඉතාමත් මේ වටිනා දෙයක්. අවුරුදු 2300ක් වුණත් ඒ ගානම විච්ච ලොකු වෙන්නේ නැහැ, විශාල වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඉතින් ඕක වෙලිම ගොඩක්ම මේ ලංකා ජනතාව ඉතාමත්ම මහත් භක්තියෙන් වන්දනාමාන කරන තැනක් තමයි ජයශ්‍රී මහබෝධිය කියන්නේ.
It was time to head back to the coast, the eastern coast, where there is wind and fishermen. So, we headed to a windy fishing village called Kalpidia. It was our final stop on our trip. The island, despite its large population, for a small size, is very self-sufficient with fresh fruit, vegetables, goat, and of course, fish. The local community is largely dependent on fishing to survive. A lot of their dishes involve dried fish, which we saw getting produced at the local kite beach. We spent some time with the local fishermen as we were sort of intruding on their traditional turf.
You're fisherman here? Okay.
Fisherman.
Yes?
Fisherman man.
Is this a good life?
Hondai. It very real side hondai. Nidasa වැඩි ඕනෙලාට ඕන නිවාඩුවක් ගත්තා ඇකි. බැංකුව වගේ නෙමෙයි. අපිට හිතුනොත් රස්සාට යනවා. නැත්නම් ඉතින් මේ ජොලිය ඉන්නවා ඉතින්. තාම ඉතින් මාළු මේ අවුවෙන විදියට තමයි ඉතින් මේ ස්ථිර ආදායම උන්නේ. මුදර ගිහලා මාළක් අවුනොත් හරි නැත්නම් මේ දෙස්සල්ලිය තමයි ණය වෙන්නේ.
And there it was. There were kites in the distance. It was time. But on our way to find our kite lodge, we stopped by a small local place with very friendly locals for a coconut toddy and some hot chili snacks. What is coconut toddy? It's a fortified wine.
Yeah, it will be a bit spicy.
Okay. Wow, beautiful. Rupees.
Yeah, I get it. Is this good?
Yeah.
Oh, get your high?
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. Good?
Very good. Very good.
Very good? Wow. Very good.
Very good.
Thank you.
These friendly locals told us that the coconut and its tree were very significant. It's all used, and it all has a purpose. Mind you, you need to get those coconuts down safely, too. I don't think I'm going to be quitting my day job to do that.
50 or 60 trees a day. Wow. I think I need to do some of this too, yeah? Get fit. What else do you do with the coconut and the coconut tree?
There were many places catering for kite surfers, but we settled on Sri Lanka, a charming tropical place right on the beach, and right on its own lagoon. This lodge is special in that it is eco-friendly and runs the Kite Green initiative, which, amongst many other things, offers guests the chance to help with the planting of mangrove plants to prevent erosion, protect marine life, and help mitigate climate change. Sri Lanka had its crows, and its squirrels, and its dogs, but none were quite like Wendy the kite camp dog. Well, we had travelled across Sri Lanka, but now it was time to taste our own version of freedom. Kite surfing with the Andrews meditation. We spent some time on the lagoon at Sri Lanka. And we travelled in some rickety old four-wheel drives out to the main lagoon. A place and a time to reflect on our journey. Who knew, in a country as tiny as Sri Lanka, you could find so many unique experiences and locations? I mean, come on, they get both beaches and mountains. But I digress. What had truly brought us closer to finding that elusive Zephyr, that happiness and freedom, had been the people. They'd taught us, or at least our translator and cameraman Raj, who knew Sinhalese, they'd laughed with us. And they'd given us another perspective on how to live life. The Sri Lankan. We had quite some help from the kite boys and some friendly little pups. Some supervision from the fishermen and the crows and the pigs. Well, it was time to go back home again. No, not just to the Kite Lodge to have a few beverages, which we did.
Yeah, we welcome you. All are open to anybody to come and visit.
I understand why all the kings and colonialists and things came here and didn't want to leave, because I feel the same way. It's just a beautiful country, beautiful people, beautiful places. I don't want to leave, but I'm going to come back, and thank you very much.
Also, thank you for coming to our country and explaining and giving some introduction to other people in the world.
As the sun set on our equally as glorious adventure in Sri Lanka, the time had come to hit the road once again, as we do, and go chasing Zephyr.